And can you tell me what was your worst memory of being in prison?
Worst memory of being in prison? If you're thinking of it in some dramatic sense, what is the most violent thing, this and that? If you're thinking of it in some spiritual sense, they're two very different things. But in the most dramatic sense, was probably the first time that I was within earshot of an attempted murder. The bloke didn't die, I won't pretend he did. But I was only, so where was I? I was in Parkleigh prison. I was 18 or 19, first or second time in, and the cell right next to me, and we share airways. So if you fart in one cell, I'm breathing it in this cell. That's how close we are. And it was like 5:45 in the morning, and I think from what I could hear, the two cellies over there didn't know each other, and the one on the top bunk kept jumping down. He mustn't have had cigarettes, and sneaking in mateys like on the bottom bunk, sneaking in his pouch and like stealing a cigarette. And I just heard a commotion, but you just had your fucking hand in my cigarette, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, long story short, with a little argument, about the cigarettes, he just went in a full stab fest on him. And it's not that the stab fest was scary to me. Like when I was 16, 17, whatever, 18, 19, I was known for stabbing people. A lot of the times I was locked up was stabbing people, attempted murders and stuff like that. But it was the reaction and the rawness of the bloke who was getting stabbed. And he was like, this was a grown man. The bloke that was getting stabbed may have been about 35, 40 years old. And he was like crying in a way I never heard someone cry before, and asking for help in a way that was like directed to the skies. And it was it made me very like sad and scared myself. Like I you know what I mean? Because I was in a cell next to it, so it's almost like I was there. The wing's dead silent, and it's just like a lad, he's just repeatedly stabbing someone. I can hear the stabs. That's not the thing. It was just the way the bloke reacted. He was like crying like it was his way out. You know what I mean? Like there was nothing left. And the rawness of his voice and his cry, it were like sent chills down my body. Like it was, it had me shook. It had me shook for a few days. I remember that morning just being shook. Like it was the first, when in the first time in your life, you see the savageness of life. Us in the Western world, and Australia and America and England and that, and we're not used to that shit. You know what I mean? As gangster as we are, or as this, we're not used to that just complete savageness, you know what I mean? Like people chopped up and shit. Like, that was my first experience of someone reacting like that. And that left me shook. I walked around like a different person for 2 days. I was like, really like, yeah, it was weird. Like an anxiety is like, bro, that's fucked. Like that's fucked. And then I got over it and then got used to it. Yeah, so for that reason, that was a very dramatic moment in my jail career. And I was 18 years old, whatever.